Welcome back to Vanillaish Factorio, and it still is vanilla. I haven't actually added any mods. I really must do that at some point. In any case, I should probably add bottleneck mod. That might be very useful to see. In any case, we've got these arrays of, well, we're converting light oil into solid fuel, and they're filling up these boxes. Decided I'm going to change that a little bit. I've put another array out there, and that's already converting light oil, which is in these mini tanks, over to solid fuel, and we'll ship the rest of them back out along that. In fact, I'll probably do that now. We may as well. Let's just make a few more pairs of that. We're just going to send it underground, and we'll do the same thing here. There we go. And we'll just send the sort of. We should probably merge these, not anything else. So I'm just going to run a line along here until after we get past the point, and then we'll just merge them up here somewhere. Doesn't really much matter where. And I'll connect the belts. Because we're going to change over these chemical plants to do something else, we're going to reuse them to make even more petroleum. And more petroleum means more plastic, which is currently backed up, I'm happy to say. It's backed up only though because the other ingredient is not being supplied, which is to say, where's my copper? I've got a that's what's causing it. I've got a splitter right here that's prioritizing the circuits, and the circuits is able to take my entire supply of copper. So for now, I'm just going to turn that off, even though that's going to starve circuits. We'll come back to that soon for me to just basically put more furnaces off camera. However, I want to make sure there's enough petroleum. That is building up, but that won't be for long. So what I actually want to do at the moment, yeah, let's change these over. Change these recipes to basically light oil crack and crack that into petroleum. Now, will we have enough room to do that? Let's convert one, and it's feeding into the wrong slot, which of course is what I normally expect when I try and do this. So let me just remove all of these, and this will mean I have to just rework this a little bit. So I have to just go here, here, and if I just move you, I can... No, that still doesn't work. Yeah, never mind. I need to move this down or up or somewhere else. Is there anywhere I can put this? No, I'm going to have to move it down. But that should do it. Okay, so that's reconnected the light oil. I'm entirely independent of these. So I think what I'll actually do, because just with space is at a bit of a premium here, I'm going to take them out. That should do the job. And we're going to replace them, but in a way that processes the light oil, which we can already access here, and we have over here as well, and pushes petroleum back. And petroleum, I don't really have tanks for at the moment. I probably should. Just a spare tank or two would be fine. So if I just put down some here, you ideally shouldn't need any tanks, of course. You should ideally have complete one-to-one sort of processing of this kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if you do that, but I don't always do that. So we've got light oil over here, and we can send petroleum back and connect it with this right here. So if you run a piece of pipe running this way, can that stretch a couple more? We can send petroleum back the other way. And that means we've got room here for some, essentially, chemical plants. My output's going to be about there, but that might cause the input to be a bit constrained. But let's give it a try. Nice symmetric array. And we're going to change that over. Okay, those are now connected. So if we have a look up here, you'll see I've got 4 and 4. So the 4 at the top are converting the light oil into petroleum, and the 4 at the bottom are converting light oil into solid fuel, and I can rebalance them as I need, depending on the amount of light oil we have. I've also put a tank in for some lubricant, just to keep that nice and buffered. And now I'm just transferring all of this solid fuel back, which it already has done here, so I can just pick these up. And that will be done for the most part. I can reuse those fast inserters elsewhere. Let's just put a slow one in the place. And instead of using that splitter, I just decided to load them all onto the other side of the belt, because all of these are inserting onto the far side of the belt as normal. So let's have a look. The petroleum is fine, the light oil is fine, and we're getting a large supply of solid fuel. Good. Now, however, you'll see that all the plastic is free-flowing, aside from these last two that are sort of obstructed by, well, basically one side of the belt is better than the other. So why don't we just, this isn't going to do anything terribly effective, but we should just be able to just make sure it's loaded onto both sides of the belt. If I just move that for a second and just put the splitter back in. I don't typically like doing this, but it basically rebalances everything onto both sides so that these factories can work until the whole belt is full. We can see, however, now that the green circuits are being starved, and they are being starved just because of what I did before. I basically said don't prioritize the green circuit array, so we're going to need a lot more copper. I did get a comment a couple of episodes, well, maybe last episode, basically saying that the copper isn't getting to the end. It isn't. I've got too little ore for too many furnaces, or, you know, vice versa. You'll see, however, this line isn't fully compacted by the time it starts getting to the furnaces. So it's easily remedied in this case just by adding more furnaces until we have a line that's fully compressed. And, well, until we actually run out of copper to mine on this particular line, then we just need to add more belt. It's not a big deal, really. Let's just put another one there. And I think I should probably just add more belt, more lines of copper ore at this point. We can put them alongside. Yeah, I'm going to need to add more power though before I do that. Every one of those just hoovers up the power. We're still getting enough coal down here, we just don't have enough power for it, so let's put a couple more steam engines and another boiler. I think I'm going to need more than that though, which means I'm going to need more iron plate, and I don't have bots to supply me. So let me go and sort the power situation, and we'll come back once the copper's a little bit more, shall we say, maxed out. Okay, there we go. You'll see that the copper is making it all the way to the end now, and you'll see that the copper appears to be a lot more reliable on the output versus a little bit further up there. It's going to take a little bit of time to flow backwards, but down here I've got a second line of ore extraction, and for the moment I'm just basically merging them to make sure there's a fully compressed belt afterwards, and that is going well. So there's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, so there's 40 furnaces there, and that is supplying those. Now we could replace those furnaces now. We have the increased technology to replace them with much faster ones. We can go all the way to electric furnaces because we've basically automated it. However, that just sort of depends whether we actually need to do that or not right now. That means I can probably try this whole prioritization to the left again. And let's see if we have any spare once these have done. They may still not have any spare, which means I may, or should probably add a second line of copper at this point. We may need also a third line of iron. You'll see I've left enough room going up there in case we need that third line of iron. So I'm going to monitor this a little bit. I'm going to deploy some more furnaces, and we'll see where we get to after that. Okay, so I've now upgraded all the furnaces to tier 2s, not tier 3s, because tier 3s need a different arrangement. You need 3x3 instead of 2x2 space to actually put them down. And now a small number of furnaces are doing the work that the whole run could do previously. A fully compressed belt has been taken care of by 24 furnaces, I think, on yellow belt. We could upgrade the belt itself to actually enable all the rest of these to come into action. Not sure though I'm going to actually do that. How cheap is it to get the next tier of belt? If I don't already have it. Logistics 2 is 200. That actually would be pretty fast. And that is one of those things that would immediately solve this. So I'll wait till the end of productivity module 3, and then we'll probably upgrade that to enable all the rest of these furnaces. However, even with those disabled, we're pretty much getting most, as you can see, we're getting one line plus a second line-ish, about half, and we're rebalancing that. So it's all being fed off in this direction. So what I'm actually going to do is just rebalance these lines before it gets there. Okay. And then that, if we prioritize, well, it shouldn't really much matter here. Just take that out for a second. It's merging them both into basically two belts here, but one belt is going off in that direction. So we could just merge again afterwards. And what we're pretty much getting then is one input belt to the main belt, and then one solidly compressed belt-ish to our circuit factory. So that's much better, at least as far as it goes. And that optimization is done. So now hopefully we shouldn't get starved of, well, I always need more and more circuits. There's never enough green circuits, ever. But we can have that running. What we're also getting, of course, is that if we have a look here, we're going to be short on engine units, okay? But you'll see science is actually piling back, and that's one of the things we actually do want to see. I want to make sure that these belts are full. What they're not full of right now is the thing that they're actually using, which is not so much the yellow as it is the purple. So where is the purple production sites? It's down here. And what are you actually short of? You're short of this, and you're short of stone brick. Stone brick should be popping onto that belt along this one, which means I'm probably out of stone brick elsewhere, back down here somewhere. Yeah, am I completely out of... Well, I can always reverse that. That much is for certain. That will stop concrete, but I don't think I need concrete anymore. Have you all finished? You have all finished, so I don't need you. These are out, which means probably... Yeah, the stone is all out, basically. Fine. How do we... Well, I could just move it, I guess. Let me just put a box down. And let's make sure that we just reuse all that stuff. There we go. That'll get back added to the belt, and then we'll just probably just move this thing up a little bit so that it carries on. Oh, yeah, I can't really put it... I can put it there. It's going to need a bit more stuff moving out of the way. I don't want it to mix it basically with iron ore. That's my main concern. And that is not too much of a problem. That'll get it flowing at least. We do have another batch of stone elsewhere though. I think I did see it on the map somewhere, so I'm going to have to go and find that, see if we're going to need more. However, stone brick is coming through now. It's going along the top, so that should restart purple. And was it purple? Yeah, it was purple over here. And that will be that one sorted. Let's go and have a look for any more gaps that we've got going in the factory. And our fast transport belt has just become available. I've just switched across to rocket shooting speed 4 and rearranged this. I've taken the box out that was supplying us with our yellow belt before, and I've now got that all in this box, just feeding this just as the reserve. And then we've got upgraded assembly machines here, and they're providing yellow and gears to a red sort of assembly machine. What we may need to do, however, is sort of feed this with a separate gear thing, a separate gear assembly machine. Will it actually even fit? Let's have a look. No, it won't. We may have to just feed it around from up here somewhere, which will do just fine. Let me just make sure we have enough gears. I want to make sure I don't have any problems with this sort of thing. So let's just make sure you're done. And then we'll feed... Oh, I don't actually want to feed using red belt here. Let me take some of this that I've got in reserve. And we will feed it back into here somewhere. Why don't I take out that box? And we'll just feed that in, and then just put a box up here for this. Put the pipe back. I only want about 4 stacks of that, so that'll be fine. And then here we should all be set. So that is going to produce gears once I put this in place. And let me just speed that up actually, just to make sure this is a healthy supply of gears. And then this can always produce more Is it just, it's just held up because it has no buffer box at the moment. So because this is got a buffer in, I put in manually, it's not starting to supply anything. But in the meantime, I'll always make sure there's a healthy supply of yellow belt here. So I can just grab some red belt and let's go and upgrade those copper furnaces. And let's see how much of a difference this makes. So we're going to do this from, well, anywhere around here really. I'm just going to start accelerating things. So let's accelerate this way. We're going to have to craft a better merge splitter there. But if we just upgrade all of you. Ah, I've got one piece left. What does it take to make a fast splitter? There we go. And I'll have to upgrade this other channel as well, but that shouldn't be such a big deal. There you are. Alright, so that should get pushed through here quite quickly. And what we should end up with is just two solid belts up here that basically I can't improve further without upgrading the output lines as well. And that's a whole other ball game. You'll see it's making all the way down to the end now and all the furnaces are running. We're going to do the same thing, I think, over near the iron and steel. I'll put a 3 to 3 belt balancer here because we technically are getting 3 belts out. Some of it is being used up by our automated little factory here for belt, but otherwise it is actually producing 3 outputs out. So this is a 3 to 3 belt balancer, standard stuff, and then I just swap this belt over so it's in the right place to be fed up here if I need it to. I need to make sure I leave enough room around various different places, but other than that, I think I've left room apart from where this this stone brick is going, and we can always send that elsewhere by sending it under and then up this way and back onto here to maintain what I actually need to make sure is there's 2 gap here. So the same thing needs to apply here so that I can get underground belts over both sides if I need to. However, that's improved. I have replaced some of the iron furnaces with these tier 2 ones, and you'll see the same things happening here in that they're consuming all of the ore before it actually makes it out of the factory. This is the vanilla way of doing it in a much more compact form than I did over there on the copper side of things. So that just switches the side of the belt, and then these can continue. Well, they could if they were on. So I need more red belt. I need to upgrade these things. Okay, about 10 minutes further on, and we're now starting to create a separate second array of green circuits because it's just absolutely needed. There's just no 2 ways about it. So I'm just going to make sure there's room to move this stuff over here. With that. And then we'll just bring a belt down here. It doesn't have to be red belt. I'm not really bothered too much in terms of actually arranging all the output belts here. I'm not that concerned right now. I just want to get things up and running. So again, just as before, this is the cluster I've got. There's probably a neater way to arrange it. It's not terribly important. And I'm just going to use up all my remaining small electric poles, as that's a little bit, no, that's fine. Yeah, it's all connected. So they'll all output onto regular yellow belts. And we're connecting them back to the main belt before it gets pulled off for any significant purpose. Here we go. So this is all jammed back now with green circuits. That's pretty much needed, however, because red circuits are, if you can see over here, I've started producing speed modules. They're needed for, I think, the rocket control units need speed modules. And over here, I've got them on this belt, on the other side, half that's unused. And on the side that is used, you'll see it changes here because I was making a few productivity modules even. Productivity modules go into productivity module 2s, and then productivity module 2s go into productivity module 3, as you might imagine. For now, what are you actually short of? You're probably short of 2s, and you are short of red. That's why I was going fixing red, because red needs green to actually be produced. And now that's actually quite happily producing red. Although what we may need to do again is use this upper space here to produce even more red. They're used by everything. You'll see as soon as I turned on these speed module plants, It starved pretty much blue. So blue is used by science. Eventually, you will turn off the science, of course, and that will make a great deal. Or at least to get the first rocket up, you can turn off science, unless you want to go further. So out here, we then have a few productivity modules. How many do we have in the box? Yeah, just 3. Fair enough. But this will all switch across to the speed modules as soon as I run out of the previous productivity modules. Now, we're rapidly approaching the silo research. And there's only, I think, 2 more things left in it. There's the rocket shooting speed 5. Yeah, there we go. So that needs 300 of each. And then we need silo. And silo is the thing that enables us to build the silo itself. Those few productivity modules will go in the silo. You can put them in other places as well. In fact, if you want to carry on into a mega base, you'll want those productivity module 3s everywhere. But everywhere that can take them anyway, aside from pump jacks, I think. However, we are going to need to build these other things. So low density structure needs copper, steel, and plastic. Now we have this petroleum line here, which makes an ideal kind of location for those. So do I have any chemical? Yeah, I do. And we have coal right there, so that looks like a good idea to put it there. Because I'm going to make another source of plastic. That existing source is being used already. It's been filtered around and making red circuits, so I don't want to interrupt that. And the petroleum is full. So so is the light oil as well, because all of this solid fuel is backed up. And I think actually I will just move those fast inserters over. And later I'll put on more of these. Because we're going to reverse this once the silo is made, we need solid fuel for one of the ingredients. However, in the meantime, we want plastic, which just is coal and petroleum. So if we then feed in, I want to say feed in sort of coal, sorry, not coal, petroleum I should say. Just leaving room for underground belts and stuff. That's going to be remarkably inconvenient for me to actually get around, but other than that, it looks like it's going to be fine. And I just need the underground belts, which need some more iron. Thankfully, having a main bus does help. And we can just actually do this, I think. And we should just be able to insert straight off those, I would hope. Again, a couple more power poles, and then we just need to feed off this. There we go. So that should insert coal, and it should insert petroleum, and we should get on the other side plastic. I'm going to feed it outwards away from the belt because the plastic is going to be used along with something else. So let's take a look at the research again. Silo. We're going to need just as much copper as plastic, and we're going to need more steel plate. So copper is relatively straightforward here. We'll actually just feed it onto this side of the belt maybe. And sort of here. Whoops. Send it that way. There we go. So half a belt of copper, half a belt of plastic, once I put the inserters, that is. And then we just need steel. And steel is, well, I upgraded the furnaces for steel as well, and upgraded the belts for steel as well, so we should be not too bad for that. Bringing it over this way. And there, because we still need to reserve one line for for iron. Put a splitter in. And there's steel. Steel should come over this way as well. And low density structures tend to need a lot of assembly machines to actually get a lot of it done. So do bear that in mind. And in the meantime, I don't think I actually want to box this stuff up, but I sort of feel like I need to have some kind of buffer. We could just use the belt as a buffer, but it's not great. Why don't I just put some steel boxes in the way, just for the moment, and we'll have it so that they're fed with fast inserters. Normally don't like to do this, but it's temporary just because we're waiting for research. And I need some power poles, of course. There we go. All right, so that is sort of the system ready for low density structures. We're going to want to probably start putting the machines down. So, you know, we might have them like this above here. And continue on as we need. We can't assign the recipes or anything, nor can we do anything about inserting them for the moment. But we probably want, you know, I don't know, maybe 60 of these, something like that. Depends how fast it goes, but we'll see once we get there. So that's low density structures. The next thing is rocket fuel. We've already got. We've got lots and lots of solid fuel. Rocket control unit we'll come back to. And it's made, the rocket part is made up of rocket control units, low density structures, and rocket fuel. So these will all combine into that. You'll need relatively few rocket part sort of assembly machines. The satellite will sort of be able to do either by pocket crafting or very little, you know, sort of setup needed to actually get it running. It needs very little compared to everything else, and you only need one, so it's not like it's amazing. At least to get to the wing condition. So that leaves rocket control units and the silo. So silo is just lots of steel plate, electric engines, pipes, concrete, etc. I think we've prepared pretty well for that. And then we've got the rocket control unit. So we need blue circuits and speed modules, which are over this side. And have the blue circuits actually resumed yet? Looks like they have. Yeah, they're coming around and they're being used up first by yellow signs, which we can shut off. So that'll be fine. And then by these. Now these, again, I don't need to necessarily concentrate these actually any further once this has moved across, but because it's not moved across yet, because we're just short on red circuits. Okay, so you can see this line of circuits is coming across now, the green ones, but the blue circuit factory is taking up all the red circuits. So it just looks like we just need to have more red circuits, and they are in turn being cut off by the lack of plastic. And around and around we go. I haven't starved this of plastic, have I? No. Are you all just producing at full speed? No, it looks like you need faster inserters. So that is easy enough to sort. Okay, are you now producing at full speed? That looks to be a lot better anyway. Yeah, that's going at full speed. I should probably make sure that the other one on the other side of these belts have fast inserters as well. Otherwise, we'll get the same effect once this is up and running and started off. So let's just switch these out. And I need some steel for some more power poles, but that's easy enough to get from here. And then we'll hook that little box up so that it starts boxing up some of our ingredients. Although it's not ideal in that this is a mixed belt. So it may end up somewhat, yeah, it's going to end up just basically breaking stuff. So let's not do that. And I'm just going to make a fairly large amount of belt for this. Don't run backwards on the belt. Slows you down. There we go. In fact, we can run forwards on a belt to speed ourselves up. And we'll see how many. I'm probably going to go backwards and forwards. Again, depends on just how much of these ingredients we can make. on the front end of this. The other option we could do is we could box. I mean, we've got plenty of copper. It's really going to be the plastic. We could box the plastic up for now. That's actually a good option. I think we're going to do that instead. So let's just get a couple more boxes. And do I want it here? Yeah, we'll just rearrange things. So with that done, instead of putting them here, we can just go underground. And we'll arrange everything afterwards. I'll just erase this belt as well. There we go. And we'll sort everything out later once this is actually ready to go. I probably need to go one further up, don't I? I'll pull off. In fact, yeah, we'll just... You know what I'll just undo this for now. And we'll pull off the copper higher up rather than down here. And everything will be fine. These buffers will work just fine. Which means I can probably put in inserters right here. And it depends if we need any more coming through. In fact, I could bring down the copper from down there and bring it up this way. It doesn't really much matter at this point. Let's just make a couple more fast inserters. A couple more power poles. There we go, and that should work the same way as before, except now there are, well, there is a method of getting the plastic buffered, and then we'll just bring copper straight off here, which will make it much easier and nicer, because I don't need the coal just yet. And we'll just go underground. There we go. Okay, so inline buffers will do just fine for now. They're going to start building up and we'll use them as and when they need to. Our speed module 3 is nearly complete. That means I'm down to 2 pieces of research left before we get the rocket launched. And that brings us to the end of the episode. We've got a fair bit done. Just really lots of optimization this episode. Just preparing, there we go, preparing for the rocket launch. Well, not the rocket launch, but the rocket assembly. And the only thing needed left is that, and then we're onto the silo. So I'll leave it there, I think. Next episode is going to be building the silo and all the technologies, and then we need to rebalance again, probably. And the easiest way to do that while you're getting the first rocket up is to shut off all your science once that's done. That will then free up a lot of your various production, and you'll get to a situation where things are a lot nicer. However, we'll see on that. We'll see about that next episode. You've stopped. Am I? No. Why have you stopped? No coal? Did I break something? Where's all the coal gone? Coal. Did I break it? There's not enough coal coming in. Why is there not enough coal coming in? Have I forgotten to? I've probably forgotten to actually make more coal mines. Yeah, because these furnaces are now pulling off a lot more coal to basically produce that kind of stuff. You'll probably find that, yeah, our existing coal mines are sort of not producing enough. I do have some more coal down here, and there's some more at the very, very top left of the map, however, so that's not a big deal. Just needs a bit more, or a few more miners, so no big deal there. So I'll leave it for here. If you've liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. We'll see you next episode for some more Vanillaish Factorio, and probably, well, if not building the rocket, certainly preparing for it by building all of the subcomponents and scaling it all up to produce as many of them as we can actually do. And we'll see how many that turns out to be, well, next episode. Hope you'll join me then. Feel free to subscribe, share if you haven't already, comment for other people if you've got any improved layouts. I'm more than happy to see them. And otherwise, we'll see you next episode for some more Vanillaish Factorio. As always, guys, thanks for watching.